Yo, what is going on, ladies and gents? It's your boy Lampzy back again with another video, and today we're going to be going over the best transfers that have happened for the 18-19 season. Now, obviously there's going to be a lot of transfers that I'm going to be going over, so don't stress. I'm probably going to cut this over 2 or 3 videos depending on how many more transfers come through, but I've already scheduled one for a second video. Whether there'll be a third, I'm not too sure, but nonetheless, guys, let's just jump straight into it. Now, the first one that we want to go into is Fred, or Frazy, however you want to pronounce it. Now, he has obviously moved over from Shakhtar Donetsk over to Manchester United. The big signing was done really early on for 59 million euros. Now, he obviously is a great player. He's been playing for Shakhtar for many years. He's got Champions League experience. He's really good on the ball. He can shoot, can pass. He's so fast if you saw him in his first game for United. But 59 million, he's going to be fantastic. Whether he's going to keep Matic out of the side, we don't know. But I really believe that Fred can be the next sort of, the really good waved player that can play for Man United. And he's definitely going to get, he's going to be definitely a fan favourite. So let me know what you guys think. I know Man United didn't do too much in the transfer window, and are you happy with Fred? Now, moving over to the second one, we've got Alisson. Now, obviously, he was the most expensive goalkeeper for all of 10 days or something. He moves over to Liverpool for 62.5 million euros from Roma. Now, obviously, he is the first choice keeper. He's keeping, Manchester City's goalkeeper Ederson out of the Brazilian squad, and obviously having that amazing Champions League run last season and playing really well in the Serie A last season has shown the world of what he can do. He's a little bit traditional, but he's also quite acrobatic at the same time. So he's got a lot of traits, that not all goalkeepers have. But a lot of teams were chasing Alisson, and for Liverpool to land, such a decent goalkeeper, finally, after many years of having such an average Joe Blow goalkeeper, is amazing. They probably haven't had a good goalkeeper since Pepe Reina. So good luck to Alisson. We're really excited to see what he brings to the Premier League. Now, the third one on this list is Jorginho. Now, a lot of teams have been after Jorginho as well. Now, obviously, he's gone for 57 million euros to Chelsea. Now, I think the only reason why that he's decided to go to Chelsea is so he can stay put with Sarri and playing that Sarri ball system. Now, Jorginho was instrumental for Napoli last season, and obviously a lot of people talk about that Napoli were playing the best style of football in the whole of Europe last season, and not only probably last season, probably the last few seasons as well. So for Chelsea to get Jorginho for 57 million is absolutely amazing. He's been so good. I've watched all the pre-season games so far except the one against Lyon, and he has been amazing to watch. I think he's been at 93 or 94% possession. Hasn't been able to give the ball away very much at all. He's just been that one person that you just look up to, and he directs the play. So he knows Sarri really well. He knows the style, and I think if Chelsea want to get the Sarri ball going a lot quicker, he's going to be the one that's going to be the conductor, really, basically. So they play it a lot to him, and I'm really excited to see what he has in the next few years with Chelsea. I'm very excited as a Chelsea supporter. But moving on to the next slide now, we've got Gianluigi Buffon. Now, obviously, he's probably, to be honest, he's probably the best goalkeeper that's ever lived. Maybe apart from Oliver Kahn, Peter Schmeichel, but he's definitely up there to be the greatest goalkeeper of all time. He's obviously gone to PSG on a free, he's gone for nothing, in PSG. What have they got to lose, So a good backup goalkeeper as well, if need be, if he didn't play to his strengths. But Buffon's been playing great football for many years, and, being only, 39, 40 now, he's still at the top of his game, and I really hope he wins some trophies at PSG, but I really hope for just his sake that Juventus don't win the Champions League with Cristiano Ronaldo, because I feel like he'll be real cut. But, I believe it was his decision to move over to, Paris, but nonetheless, I think it's fantastic for Buffon to have a new step in his career. Moving on to the second one on this page, we've got Axel Witsel. He's finally moved away from China. He's only gone for 20 million to Borussia Dortmund. I think is a fantastic move for Dortmund. It's just another beautiful midfielder to have. Witsel had a great World Cup with Belgium. He's always been the starter. I was quite surprised when I heard his name on the the starting lineups at the start of the World Cup, and it continuously happened. And Witsel hasn't lost his game at all. He's still in the prime of his life, and I think he's realised that maybe he's best in European competition. So for Dortmund to sign him is fantastic. For 20 million, especially in this market, it's absolutely ridiculous. It is a bargain of a price, and good luck to him at Dortmund. Now, speaking of bargains, now obviously we've got Arturo Vidal. He's been playing for a lot of big teams, over the last 5-6 years now, but he obviously is coming towards, the later stages of his career. I think he's 31 or 32, and he's moved over for 18 million euros for a couple of years, I think, for Barcelona, which is fantastic business for Barca. He's basically sort of a replacement for Paulinho, sort of. Obviously, you've also got Arthur as well, which we'll go into a little bit detail a little bit later. But for 18 million, whether he's a first team starter or a squad rotation player, for someone of that quality who can defend, who can attack, who can pass, can do the whole lot, is fantastic business for Barcelona. So really excited to see what Vidal has, what to prove in the La Liga. Now moving over to the next slide. Now we've got Dendoncker moving over to Wolverhampton. Now I believe this is a fucking awesome signing for Wolves, like no joke. Dendoncker has been, linked to a lot of different clubs in the Premier League, such as Manchester United, I believe, Arsenal, I think Spurs were after him at one stage, and for Wolves to secure their man is fucking awesome. 15 million euros on that note as well, which is an absolute bargain. So I'm really keen to see what Dendoncker brings to Wolves and the Premier League. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a really good season for Wolves. I wouldn't be surprised if he does move on to a bigger and better club in the Premier League, just to show that he's got that class and he can play in the Premier League. So good luck to him. I'm keen to see what Wolves have got this season, and Dendoncker is going to be a real solid rock for them this season. Now moving on to this big one, obviously this was done last year, but obviously it's all confirmed, it's all done. It's he's finally in the team. I believe Jurgen Klopp was even sending Naby Keita slideshows and notes and everything in the middle of the season last season when he was playing for Leipzig, of how he likes to structure his team and how he likes Liverpool to play and everything. So obviously Keita was probably in a different frame of mind even before he got to Liverpool. 60 million euros, they had already set in stone that, and I think it's a fantastic buy. Everyone knows he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's a beautiful dribbler and he's a beautiful passer of the ball, and seeing him already in the Premier League this season, he was fucking sick to watch for Liverpool, and he's going to be deadly. Like, Liverpool are going to challenge, I believe, this year for the Premier League, and if not, I wouldn't even be surprised if they have a good run in the Champions League this year as well. So good luck to Naby. I'm keen to see what he's like, and obviously Ultimate Team this year, we've got another beautiful midfielder to choose from. Now moving on to the next one is obviously Riyad Mahrez. Man City have finally got their man. There's not too much that I can really say that everyone else knows. 68 million euros, was secured to Manchester City. Everyone knew Mahrez was out, and everyone knew that he was going to go to Manchester City because Manchester City didn't get Alexis Sanchez last in January, so everyone knew that Mahrez was going to be the man. Now obviously whether he's going to be a starter or not, I'm not too sure. He started the first couple of games already in the Community Shield, and for the first game against Arsenal, they've got a lot of quality, Manchester City, but they're going to be playing a lot of games this season. I wouldn't be surprised if they go really deep into Champions League, but he's an ex-PFA Player of the Year. He's a beautiful 5-star skiller. He's a great passer. He's a great shooter. He's got pace. He's a fantastic player, none of the less, guys. And that's the only business that Manchester City have really done, in the off season this year. So for Mahrez is fantastic, and I can't fault Mahrez one bit for going to Manchester City. So I'm really keen to see what a really, really good team around him is going to be like now. So we saw what he was like at Leicester when Leicester were playing out of their skin. So now he's got a team that are going to be consistently playing fantastic around him. So he's going to be getting a lot of good service, especially from KDB. So now moving over to the next side, we've got Gonzalo Higuain. Now I think this is atrocious business from Juventus. Higuain is pissed off himself that he's been sent over. It is believed that Ronaldo has got something to do with this, but whether it is or not, I'm not too sure. He's obviously gone on loan to AC Milan. Obviously, a lot of it's probably got to do with financial fair play, especially with Bonucci going back as well. But Higuain's a little bit pissed off. He was linked to Chelsea and he was going to come to Chelsea, but it turned out that no one other than Sarri wanted him in the system, so he's decided to stay in Italy, play where his strengths are and play for Milan. So he's definitely going to net a lot of goals for Milan this season, taking European football out of the equation as well. I think he's going to play most of the games this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has an absolute belter of a year, without having Dybala and Douglas Costa there to score other goals as well. I think Higuain is going to have a 30 to 40 goal season. Now, you probably think I'm insane saying that, but Higuain is one of the best strikers in the world, guys. If you watch him, he is a top striker. He's a great poacher. He knows when to finish the ball. So, to say the least, Jesus, good luck to the defense now just having to worry about Higuain by himself, because that's when he's at his best, when he's by himself. So, now moving over to probably the biggest transfer of the window, and probably if not for the last couple of years, I think this probably beats Neymar going to PSG last season. It's insane to see Cristiano Ronaldo finally leave the Bernabeu. I think it's great for his career. He's just consistently going to prove himself as the best player of all time. I'm a Ronaldo over Messi. To be honest, if Messi showed that he could play in the Premier League or just in another league in general, I think I might sort of sway over a little bit. But to be honest, if Ronaldo kills at Juventus, there is no stopping anyone, I believe, to think that he is the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Seriously, for 117 million euros as well, I think what you can get out of that as well. I believe half of that was already paid back due to shirt sales already, which was crazy. But it's nuts to think that Ronaldo's he's gone to Juve, and it's going to bring a lot of supporters over to Serie A this season. So I'm really excited to see what Ronaldo has, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the start of something really special for that Champions League triumph for Juventus. So now moving over to Malcolm this time. Now, obviously, this one's a crazy story. Everyone probably knows it. Quick recap. Malcolm, he was, I think he was just about ready to go to the airport to go to Roma, and then he got a call saying, hey mate, your flight's cancelled, and you're actually going to Barcelona instead of Roma. So it was quite funny in off-season because, Roma made a lot of, they confirmed it and all, and then all of a sudden they played each other in the ICC Champions Cup, and Malcolm played, for Barcelona. It was crazy. It's all a bit of banter online when that happened, but to say the least, I think Malcolm is a fantastic buy for only 41 million euros. Just another good buy that Barcelona have done, and they've done great business, and I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona go on and win, La Liga again if Atletico Madrid don't show up, because I don't think Real Madrid have got that X factor this season, because they haven't really signed anyone big. They've missed out on a lot of big players, but we're not talking about who they haven't got. So we're talking about what teams they've got. So, to say the least, Malcolm's a fantastic buy. He's young, and I'm really keen to see what Malcolm brings to Barcelona this season. Now moving over to the second last slide of this video. Now we've got Yerry Mina going over to Everton, going away from Barcelona. I don't even know what the point was for Barcelona buying him. They probably made a little bit of profit for him. I didn't check to see how much Barcelona did buy Yerry Mina for in the beginning, but Yerry Mina is fantastic. He's young. He had a great World Cup for Colombia. I think he's going to bring a lot of good, quality to Everton this season. He's definitely a powerhouse for corners, for set pieces, and everything like that, as if you saw him in the World Cup. So for 30 million euros for a defender like that, who can probably play on, well, you're probably looking at a long time if he wants to stay put at Everton, but I wouldn't be surprised if Yerry Mina played really well and then ended up going to Man U. So for 30 mil, can't go wrong. Another defender that we're going to move on to, we'll slighten quicken this up a little bit, is Socrates Papastathopoulos. I think I pronounced that all right. He's moving on to the end of his career. Sort of the next few years will probably be the best. The last best of his career. He's moving over from Dortmund for only 16 million euros to Arsenal. I think he's going to tighten up Arsenal's defense a bit if Emery can implement the way he plays. But to say the least, you can't really go wrong for 16 million euros. It's the same with Vidal. You've got an experienced player in the back line now, and to be fair, Socrates is an absolute beast. He's an animal, and he's going to be great for FIFA Ultimate Team. Now the last one for this page is Seri. Now this one's crazy as well. He went to Fulham for 30 million euros. Chelsea were after him, and it was actually claimed that Seri was actually going to Chelsea, but it turns out he actually went to the team down the road to Fulham. So to say the least, like seriously, that's a really good buy for Fulham, how they've managed to pick this one. You know, Seri was actually wanted by PSG last season because he had a fantastic year in Liga. But you know, I think Seri's going to be great for Fulham once Fulham gets their shit together. Obviously, the first game against Crystal Palace probably wasn't the greatest of a 2-0 defeat at home, but you know, once you know the teams start to find their feet, I believe that teams will start playing a lot better in the way that they want to play. So Seri's going to be instrumental this year if Fulham are going to do well. So there probably is quite a lot of you know pressure on Seri and Andre Schürrle this season if they want to do well and stay up. But I don't have a doubt in my mind that they'll stay up. So moving on to the last slide now, and obviously we went over the goalkeeper Alisson, who had the record for like 10 days. And then Chelsea decided to activate the release clause of Kepa Arrizabalaga. So he's obviously, a lot of people probably don't know too much about him. I didn't know too much about him either. He's only got one cap for Spain. He's the backup for goalkeeper for David De Gea. He's talented. Put it that way, guys. Like, I'm not going to be biased. For 80 million euros, I think 71 or 72 million pounds is a lot to pay for. So I really hope he plays to his standards, because you know, especially when you've got a cover for Thibaut Courtois, who's just snaked it right out of the club, which I'll go over the next video as well. But 80 million is a lot to go by, and you know, he wasn't tested in the first game in the Premier League, so we've really got to just wait and see what Kepa does bring to Chelsea. But he's a really good acrobatic keeper, and he's a really good saver of the ball in midair. So can't wait to see what he's like, and hopefully he doesn't disappoint for that price tag, because gee whiz, guys, that is a lot of money. Then moving on to the second last one, I did briefly go over him before. He's basically the other replacement for Paulinho as well as Vidal. It's Arthur. I don't really know too much about him. I know he's a great player of the ball. He can basically do anything you want him to do. Moving over for 31 million euros. Once again, you know, in this market, when you're getting players that cheap, you can't really go wrong, because no matter what, if they're going to do bad, then you're probably going to get most of the money back anyway. So I'm really keen to see what Arthur brings to Barcelona. Unfortunately, I can't really give you too many details on him, but I know he's definitely a player to look out for in the next few seasons to come. Now the last one for today's video is Raja Nainggolan, which I was quite surprised when I saw Raja Nainggolan move from Roma, especially with the activity that Roma have done. Now they've built their squad up, but Inter Milan have gone absolutely fucking nuts this season on how they've brought all these different players into the squad, and Raja Nainggolan is going to be an absolute gem for Inter Milan. For 38 million euros, you're probably going to get at least 3 or 4 good years out of him as well. He can do anything you want. How he was left out of the Belgian squad was beyond me. I just don't think Martinez liked him whatsoever, so don't get that that thought lost in your head. He is fucking amazing. He's had tots after tots, and if you love going off FIFA stats, go and have a look at his card right now, and everything will be like, whoa, this guy's an absolute gem. So I'm really excited for Raja. I really hope he does well, because he is definitely one of my favourite players to watch. He's just an absolute brute force for the midfield. But to say the least, Inter are going to give a good run to Juve for their money this season. But that one is the last one that we're going to do for this video. I've got the next one already sorted out for you guys, so stay tuned for that one. But if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like. Let me know what you guys think of these these transfers. It's pretty wild. But anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed today's videos, like I said, and I shall see you guys on the next video. Peace out.